Hi, everybody. It is Pam Varner here, and I have an echo going on, so give me a second. Let me see how I can fix this. There we go. I have my little monitor over there, so I can see what you see. How's everybody doing? Welcome. We got a bunch of stuff to do today. So I'm just going to give it a minute to let people jump on. I hope everybody had a nice Thanksgiving last week and getting ready for the winter holidays. How fun is that? So I'm going to move us over to my sewing machine camera. I think it's this one. Let's find out. Ah, it is. Yay. So get this out of the way. I don't know how many of you were here last month, but we did this really fun thing with the artisan marquee, and I didn't finish it. I left the inside of it empty just in case you had an idea of something you wanted to put on the inside of yours if you made this design. And I told you that I would fill it out this month, and so that's what we're going to do. So this is what we did last month with the artisan marquee, connecting it with the connectors from the connector set, the edge-to-edge connector set. So the only thing I've added is I added crosshairs in between the ones that were already there. So we started with just 8 crosshairs, and then I added the ones in the middle. And I'm going to use these lines, and I'm also going to use the crosshairs that we had there from last month. Okay, so I have the same template out that these were done with up here, and we're going to set this at 7.5. That seems to be the size it fit, and I couldn't get it small enough. Like even if I did the 7-inch here, I'm still going to go off into this design. So I put it at 7.5, and that's why I went every other one. But we're actually going to pull on the line here. Let me see how you can see that. There we go. I'm going to pull on this line. I'm going to stitch from this line, go all the way around, come back, and stitch to this line. So we're actually going to hit this line twice. Once at the bottom, and then it's going to cross it at the top. We're going to cross the line and then come down and stop at the line. And then we're going to rotate the template. And we're going to do the same thing because we should be right about here. And I'm going to go around. And when this is all done, I'm going to show it to you. So first things first. Let me see. Is we have to pull our threads. So let's start down here. Maybe you can see it a little bit better. Okay, I'm going to pull on this chalk line that I had before. I'm lining my template up with the lines that I've added. I'm going to pull on this line. So pulling on the original line that was there. Take just a couple of stitches to get started. And then see how my thread is up here? I could, if I wanted to, raise my foot and try and get that thread out of the way. There we go. Okay. And now I'm going to stitch past the line. Come around, and I'm off just a little bit and stop on the line. Rotate the template. And I went a little too far. There we go. I was having a hard problem seeing that. I don't know why. And I'm lining the template up so the center is on that line. cross the line and then stop on the line. Rotate the template. Again, I'm going too far. I don't know. I'm not seeing this correctly. It still looks fine. Okay, I'm going a stitch too far, so I have to remember that. Where I think I want to stop, I have to stop a stitch before it. There we go. And now I can see the dots here, the little pinholes, are going right on the line that's opposite of this line, this reference line that I'm using. There we go. And now this one. I'm at the end. So I would pull my threads, but we're just going to do that here. And I'm going to trim these. Normally I would bury those, but just for this quick little demo, we're not going to do that. So now we have these this design inside. And then the other thing that I did, just because there's all this empty space in the middle. Now you could put like a mini Spinifex in there. You've got some room. Let me see how much room you've got. You have, from that thing to that thing, you've got 1, 2, 3. You have 3.5 inches. You could put in a 3.5 inch Spinifex. It would touch this right here and here. Or you could use a 2.5 Spinifex. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the marquee and just put it right in the middle because it's the same shape. So I'm lining up the crosshairs on my template. Let's see, maybe we should let's go up and down. Maybe that'll look better. So I have markings on my template that are right in the middle here on the left and the right, and then on the top and the bottom. And I'm just going to pull my thread anywhere. Little tiny tail. Take a couple of stitches and then go on my way. And I'm going to go back and lock those, and then I can cut. Usually on a quilt, I don't cut, I bury. On wall hangings, I tend to cut, like I just did, lock the threads and then cut. So I'm just going to check real quick to see if there's no questions. Let me know if you have any questions. we're going to continue on. So that is what I've got going on to finish what I started last month. So I'm going to put this up on the table so you can see it. And then let me move the camera to the table, but shut your eyes because there's a surprise on the table. It's not a huge surprise, but you know. Ta-da! Surprise. Okay. So here is that design all stitched out. And you would iron, you know, your lines out or wash them out however you remove your lines. So I like that all of the shapes are the same. So, and I can't get this particular camera any farther away. So that's what that looks like. So next up, we have snowflakes. So here's the good news for the day. The snowflakes are on sale. And they're on sale through the weekend because it's Friday, right? So I'm going to put in the comments the link for the snowflakes. And then I'm also going to give you, let's see where my snowflake link is. There's this. Copy this. Come over here. Come over here. And post this. So this is the link for the snowflakes. And this is the coupon code. So if you use this coupon code, deal day 20, you can get 20% off snowflakes for the whole weekend. How cool is that? So yay, I'm thanks So Steady for doing that. All right, this is a snowflake template. The snowflakes come in 4 different shapes on the top, okay? So we have the diamonds, and they come in 2 sizes. So we have diamonds in 2 different sizes. We have the pointed oval in 2 different sizes. We have the teardrop in 2 different sizes. And we have this round ones in 2 different sizes. The cool thing about these templates is you can stitch them out at 5.5 inches, 7.5 inches, 9.5, or 11.5 inches. And the way that you do that is the templates, they're sold in sets of 2. So you get the 2 sizes of the diamonds or the round ones, or, you know. So you get 2 of each length little puzzle pieces that you put inside here. So this will allow you to stitch out 5.5, right? Because you're going to come down here and stop. And then you just take that puzzle piece out if you want to do a different size. Now, I keep my puzzle pieces in a separate bag. And here's the one for the 11.5. See, you come all the way down here. That's going to give you an 11.5 circular design. So you've got 11.5. We have 7.5. I showed you the 5.5, and then there's 9.5. Now, you probably want to tape this shut when you are using it. Sometimes you can get away without taping it. You just have to be careful and be aware that this could pop out. Okay, so it just kind of depends on if you pop your template up like this, the puzzle piece can come out. It can cause a problem. I put stable tape on 3 places on each side because sometimes I'm stitching like this. And sometimes I'm stitching with my hands more like this. So I want stable tape everywhere, okay? There's a line that goes across here. Let me use my little brush here. A line that goes across there, and that is your horizontal line. And then these are reference lines for 8-point crosshairs. So I was working on a quilt a number of years ago and had a lot of white background, and it was a Christmas quilt. And I wanted to put snowflakes in the background, just random snowflakes. So I came up with a way to do 6-point snowflakes without marking my quilt. But I do have to mark my snowflakes. And most snowflakes that I see that I really like are 6 points. So I pretty much only do 6-point snowflakes. So I'm going to show you how I do that. First of all, I take a piece of paper and I take a 6-point crosshair square. And I do the 4 lines, north, south, east, and west. And then I do, let's get that on there right, Pam, north, south, east, and west. And then I do one of the diagonals. You only need one, okay? Then I take my template and I line up the horizontal line on where it says 5.5. It says 5.5 right here. And I line up this horizontal line there, and then I line up the center. And usually I do that with a puzzle piece in there because there's a line on the puzzle piece. So that's lined up. This line right here, I'm going to put a ruler sticker on it. So these are the ruler stickers. I'm going to put a link for this later in the demo. So they come in 3 different colors. I take a ruler sticker. I'm just going to do one. I pull off a ruler sticker. They're easy to come off if you can see them. I have a weird light in front of me. Oh, Pam. Did I get one? No. Usually I use tweezers. So I make sure this is down, and then I put a ruler sticker right on that line. That's not on the line. I would move it. This part is important, and that's why I use tweezers. But I don't know where they are right now. And there we go. Well, you want to put the ruler sticker right on that line, okay? And you're going to do that for every section. So 5.5, 7.5, 9.5, and 11.5. And then that's what it looks like when you're done, okay? So I have put stickers on all of my snowflake templates. Every one of them has stickers on them, except for this one. Oh no, it's upside down. Like, I thought I did all of them. It took me a little while to get them all done, but they're done. And I just leave these stickers on here all the time. So we are going to use this template. And I think we're going to do 7.5 inches. So I need to take out my little thing. The other thing that we're going to play with today is the Decorative Thread Ruler Foot. Now, some of you may have never heard of this, and some of you may. So what it is it's a ruler foot that allows you to do couching with thick threads and yarns on your machine with rulers. So this is what the foot looks like. It has a little piece of plastic on the bottom with just a little bit of a opening in the inside. And then it has this little lip here. I don't know what you would call that. An opening that you can put your yarn through. Okay. We're not going to use that all the time. So, but this is what the foot looks like. It has a big enough opening. I'm going to try and get it close to the camera. Oops. There we go. That you can actually use a zigzag stitch when you stitch this out. And that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to take the foot. We're going to take this template. It's set at 7.5 inches. This is where 7.5 inches is. We're going to take that over to the machine. And then what I'm going to do is show you the yarn that we're going to play with. We're going to make some puffy snowflakes. So this is called eyelash yarn. It's very soft and it goes out on both directions. So what I'm going to do, and if this isn't called eyelash, let me know. I'm not a knitter, but somebody told me this was called eyelash. So what's going to happen is we're going to use a zigzag stitch, and we're going to stitch on both sides here. And then the yarn's going to puff up when we're done. But we're going to use this to make the snowflakes. So I'm really excited to show you guys two things. One, how to couch, and two, how to make a snowflake without marking your fabric. So let's go back to the sewing machine, put the foot back on, and I'm just going to check real quick for questions. Oh, thank you. I like the finished design too. Okay, so far no questions. That's great. I like to answer questions, so let's go back to the machine. Boom. Yay, okay. So here's our fabric without any markings. I promise it has no markings on it. And then we're going to put our foot on the machine. Now, I can on my machine have a 1.3 stitch width of a zigzag stitch. The other thing is, because this is a generic foot, it's not a foot that's made for my machine, I may have to move my needle position. I have to move it 3 clicks to the right. So I've got that set up right now, and it's 3 clicks to the right. So I'm not going to pierce this plastic that's inside this foot on the bottom. Okay. So we're just going to come here kind of in the center somewhere. That's not the template we're using. I forgot to bring the template. Did I bring the template over here? Here it is. Oh, it's Friday. Okay. I'm going to lower my needle. I'm pulling up a thread. Hopefully I can do this inside the template. We'll see. Okay, first thing I do is take a couple of stitches. Okay, then I'm going to raise my foot. I'm going to pull this top thread down to the bottom. There we go. All right. Take your yarn, whatever it is that you're couching with. You go down the needle and then back behind the needle. So you've caught the thread in here. Take another stitch, and when you pull, it pulls the yarn right through. So you want to pull the short end all the way through and leave the long end. I leave it attached to the ball of yarn. You could unroll a whole bunch. I don't know how much yarn it takes, but you could unroll a bunch and go that way, go that route. Okay, so now I'm going to lower my foot, and I'm going to take just a couple of stitches to lock it in place. Okay, now I'm going to come along here. You want to make sure that your yarn is above the template and not underneath it like this. You don't want that. You want the yarn above the template. Okay. I'm going to rotate my template clockwise. So there's a little bit of a give in here, just like a little tiny give. So I'm going to start stitching with my foot butted up against the side with the arrows. Okay. And that's because we're going to stitch out, we're going to go around, we're going to stitch back. So there's going to be 2 layers of yarn going back here. So I want to be butted up against the right side, and then on my way back down, I'm going to butt against this side. So I'm not stitching on top of it, of what I've stitched. It's really close, but it's not directly on top. So I keep the yarn in the direction of where I'm going. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the groove. It just has to be in the direction that you're sewing. Now, at the point here, I take a couple of stitches. That ensures that I'm going to have a point on my on the top here. Then I'm going to move the thread to go back this way. And I always have the thread going in the direction that I'm stitching. And now we're going to go back down to where we started. Okay. These loose threads here that I started with, I can trim them. They're going to be sewn over so many times. And I can also trim this. I'm going to trim it shorter when we get done, but now it won't be in my way. I'm going to turn the template until the ruler sticker arrows are right on top of what I've just stitched. Now you can do this with doing regular snowflakes without yarn. So rotate, put the ruler stickers right on top. It works for every size. Yarn in the direction that the machine is sewing. Come around here. Now, before I change directions, I go a couple of times. So what that does is it puts a stitch on both sides of the yarn so it stays in place when I turn directions. If you don't do that, you might end up with a section of your yarn that's not stitched down. Okay, turn this way, right on top of what we've just stitched. Now, you don't have to rotate this. If you can see, if I'm here, I can see what I'm doing and I can keep going that way. Let me do one more that way before I rotate it. I'm going to tell you that I would never do this heavy of a yarn on a quilt. I might do something smaller, but I would never do anything this heavy. I would put it on a pillowcase or a couch pillow, a couple of stitches, and then come this way. And now I'm moving my yarn over here. Make sure I'm still in place. There we go. Oops. I shouldn't have moved the yarn. I should have left it over here. There we go. I don't go fast when I couch. Once we get a couple more spokes in here, this is going to be really bulky in the middle. So then I would turn this way. Again, I have the arrow right on top of what I've stitched, and I would keep stitching. But I want you to be able to see where the yarn is going, so that's why I'm moving it. I'm having a hard time moving and I don't know why. Let me see what's going on here. Let me raise my foot just a little bit. I think I have a jam going on. Let me see something. So I'm going to lock this right here and I'm going to cut my threads because something is preventing me from moving on. And there we go. It might have been this guy, my tail. He might have been out too far. And now I've lost my little scissors. Here they are. So this is how easy this is to fix this if you have a problem. So I guess it's kind of good that happened. Come right back in here. Take my needle. Take a couple of stitches. And then let's see what happens. There we go. I'm kind of off course just a little bit. Move the thread back this way. Put my scissors away so that I can find them again. So this one is just a little cockeyed, but it'll be fine. Because of the puffiness, you're not going to even notice it. But I had too much bulk under my foot, and that's why it wasn't moving. And that's because the tail got under the foot. So I had like layers and layers of yarn that I was trying to stitch over. Because it had folded back on itself. Let's go this way. Now, if you do a straight stitch, you're only going to be able to sew in the, you're going to have to continue to turn your fabric so that the hole is always coming towards you and the yarn is always in the hole, in the little slit in the foot. You're not going to be able to do this technique if you don't use a zigzag stitch. We just have one more to do here. Remember to lock this in place up there. Unroll my yarn a little bit. Now, I may not be able to get all the way back into the center because of all the pieces of yarn that are in there. Let's see what happens. Oh, I was. Okay, so I'm going to take some locking stitches. That's going to lock this piece of yarn in there. I'm going to cut this. I'm also going to cut it off right there. Okay, so there, you just take your hands. You could take a toothbrush or a chenille brush. any kind of brush and just kind of fluff it up a little bit. Okay. I'm going to put this up on the table so you can see it because it's really pretty. And then I can check and see if you all have any questions. There we go. Isn't that pretty? I really like it. Let me see if anybody has any questions. Yes, I zigzag with my feed dogs up. So is the same thing as if you're using a straight stitch with your ruler foot. So it's a decorative thread ruler foot with the same settings that you would use with a regular ruler foot. Sometimes I have to raise my foot up a little bit just because this stuff is so puffy and you're adding another layer of something on your batting and your backing. And if you look at the back, see how you can see all the zigzags? It's not a straight stitch on the back. That's another reason I wouldn't use it on a quilt. So, oops, sorry, I didn't mean to hit the camera. There we go. Hello, hello. Yes, it's a snowflake template. I'm using the snowflake and I'm using the pointed oval. And like I said, they come in sets of 2. Yeah, so that's how I did that. Now, let me show you how quick it is. Let's take a different shape, shall we? Let's take a diamond. Let's take the small diamonds. And I'm going to show you how quick you can make just a regular, we're going to do 2 sizes. We're going to do 2 templates. We're going to do a big diamond and we're going to do a little circle. So I need my 5.5. I know I have all my fun things out. Is this 5.5? Yes. Okay. Let me show you how quick this is to do. Because I really think that once you can do snowflakes, like that's why snowflakes kind of scared me because I always wanted to put them on white fabric, like with pretty blue thread or a silver thread or something like that. And I didn't want to mark my white fabric. Get the fuzz out of there. Okay. And I don't even have to change my foot. I'm just going to leave my ruler foot in there. That's what I was using before, was my ruler foot. Okay. So we're going to take the, take that out of there. And these little things, maybe it'd be helpful if you could see what I was doing. The little puzzle pieces work on every snowflake. So you can take them out of one and put it in another. So there it is. Actually, I don't know that I'm gonna have enough room. Let me get another piece of fabric. I put this snowflake right in the middle of this fabric. That was pretty funny. Something just fell, but it's okay. The other thing, the decorative thread ruler foot. Let me put that up on in the comments. You're not going to believe this. It's okay, so it's $35, and the decorative thread ruler foot is also on sale. 20% off all weekend because it's Friday. Aren't you glad you're here on a Friday? I appreciate y'all being here. Same code, deal day 10. So, okay, so what I was telling you is this puzzle piece came out of the one that I just used, and now it goes right in a different one. So I'm using the big diamond, okay? So we're gonna, let's see, I can come, yeah, I can come like here. Now, if you use a straight stitch plate when you do ruler work, if you're going to do the zigzag stitch, you have to take your plate off. So I don't know how you tell yourself that. I have a little button on my machine that I can tell it which stitch plate I'm using. But, okay, we took a couple of stitches in place. And now we're just going to zip through this. When I say zip, I don't mean like go super fast, because that's not how I do things. Look, see this line right here? That's where I'm putting my ruler sticker. Ta-da! I should probably nip these threads, but ruler sticker right on top of that line. And I hope you've noticed that I haven't rotated my fabric. So you can do this on a full-size big quilt. I made one of those Christmas tree quilts. I don't remember the name of it, but it was a giant Christmas tree. It was like, I don't know, 3.5, 4 feet high. The quilt ended up being almost 6 feet when I got done with it. And the tree had a white background. And it was for my daughter. And I said, how do you want me to quilt it? And she goes, without batting an eyelash, like I was a genie, she says, I want snowflakes. I'm like, but it's white fabric. I don't want to mark it. I don't know how to do that. So that's why I came up with this idea. Yeah, we got one more to go. And in a perfect world, the motif that is stitched directly across from the one I'm going to stitch, in a perfect world, which this seems pretty perfect right now, it's about as perfect as I can ever get, runs right in the middle of this puzzle piece. So that was pretty good. So now I'm back in the middle. I'm going to take the circle and the 5.5. Let's see what that's going to look like. I'm going to end up with little circles right in here. So put that through there. And let's see if that's going to, oh yeah, that's not going to touch. That's going to be good. Okay, so the plan is to put this circle in between these two diamonds. So I have a little bit of thread showing right here and a little bit showing over here. That's as close to center as I think I'm going to get. So that's what I'm going to go with. And I know that I'm far enough away, I'm not going to stitch onto the diamond. Now I'm using the ruler sticker on the circle that I just stitched. And this should be right in the middle. Again, hopefully I'm not gonna come close. So one was off a little bit. So it touched. I'm not perfect. This one's going to be way off. So because this is off a little bit, I'm going to move it and I'm eyeballing it to make sure that it's in the center. And it's going to touch again. You might not like that look. So what I would do is I would have this come out farther. I would have made this a little bit farther out. Instead of doing 7.5, I would have done 9.5. And it might have looked better. But well, it's always good to practice your designs to see what you like and what you don't like. I don't mind it touching. Okay, let me get these threads over on this side. Don't want to drop the foot on the template, that's for sure. So that is how quick it is to sew out a snowflake with using 2 templates. So you can mix and match these shapes. You could also do, you know, diamonds and diamonds. That would look fine too. I like to mix up the shapes a little bit. So I am checking again for questions. The feed dogs up or down. So my feed dogs are down. And when my feed dogs are down, I'm able to go like this. Hi, Debbie. Rita, it's okay. They're going to play these over again. So, yes, there's 4 different choices on the snowflakes. You can either get the diamonds, the circles, the pointed ovals, or the teardrops. They come in sets of 2. Yeah, the ruler stickers are just great. Let me give you a link to the ruler stickers, and then you don't have to look those up. I got you all covered. I got you. Everybody. Some things I know how to do. Cut and paste. Copy and paste. I know how to do that. All righty. Now, the last thing we're going to do is, unless you guys have any questions on this and want me to show something else with the snowflakes. I mean, I can always come back and do that. So what we're going to do now, what happened? Oh no. Shoot. I need a minute. My monitor went blank. So I need to get the other one. Or not. Maybe we just won't monitor. That's okay. We won't monitor. There we go. All right, so you know how we've been doing fun feathers every month? So this is the last of my fun feathers. I call these ribbon feathers, which I think is pretty appropriate for December because, you know, we're making presents and we're wrapping them. And so what's everybody, so who is making holiday gifts this year? I want to know if you're making holiday gifts. And if you're using your, what Sew Steady products are you using to make your holiday gifts with? That's my big question of the day while you watch me and you can share with each other. So I'm getting my 3-inch feather template out. To make ribbon feathers, you need to start on the line that is to the feather side of center. So the one that's just on this side of the template, on the right side, to the right of center. And when I use this, the left side of the template, I'm going to do the line to the left of center. Okay, so that's going to be my center line when I start. So I'm going to do that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch around. I'm going to come back and I'm going to stop at the one that is just to the left of the edge of the template. So 1/4 inch away from the edge of the template. Okay. You can do 2 if you want to. It doesn't matter. 1 or 2. So I'm going to pull my thread on the line. I've got my center line that's to the right of center on my spine. I drew my spine. You don't want to stitch your spine in this case. I'm trying to get the bobbin thread and I keep pulling the needle thread. There we go. I always pull like so much thread. I don't know how to stop that. Okay. So we're up here. We're going to stitch around till we hit the spine and then come back and stop on that line. Now, the one thing that you have to be aware of is your feather is going to be 1/4 inch wider than where we're at right now. So you want to make sure that this here is at least 1/4 inch away from the edge of your border or a little bit more. Okay. So now, is this, I wonder if I can, oh, it's my machine lights that are glaring. Okay. Now I'm going to move the template. It's still touching the back of the foot. The template here is touching the back of my foot. I was right there. I'm going to slide the template to the right until the center line is on my spine. And then I'm going to stitch around. And it's hard to see it upside down, but it looks like it's twisted right here. Like it's a piece of ribbon that you twisted. And that's why I call it ribbon feathers. Okay, now I'm going to stitch up the spine. If you were nervous about stitching freehand straight lines, and I'm just going to stitch right over that, you can use your template and stitch up. So I kind of stitch until, and I can see this, you can't see it, till my foot is just past this feather, just past. And there's a couple of things that I can show you that you can do about that. If I can find my, of course I lost my pen. Oh, there it is. Okay. So again, I want to start on the line that is to the right of center. There we go. And I want to be a 1/4 inch away from where these two threads cross each other. And I need to come up just a little bit, not much, just a little bit. Then I'm going to stitch until I hit the plume that I just made. And then I'm going to move my template. I don't tilt it this way or that way. I started here, I just slide it to the right. Come back down. And then I'm going to stitch up my spine. This is why you don't want to pre-stitch your spine, because you're going to be stitching on top of it. Now, let's see. Am I a 1/4 inch away? I am. I did that perfectly. But let me show you what you can do. And I do this a lot. I keep this pen. You can use any pen that will write on plastic. Okay. My pen is Identi pen. This is I like it because it's got two sides. It's got a really pointy end here and then a fat one up there. So look at what you can do. You can take on the top of your template, not on the bottom, because if you do this on the bottom, you might not be able to get it off if it gets in the etch marks. And I just mimic the feather, right? This might save me some time. So when I'm stitching, I often think, what can I do to save time? How can I make this easier on me so I don't have to take out my spacing gauge every time? If I line these stitches up with what I just marked on my template, then I'm going to be fine. Touch, move, go back. And I might be able to do this a little faster. Come up the spine. Let's see. I stopped too short. I can tell it's too short. And it is. I need to go back just a little bit. I need to be about there. And I'm putting these black lines right on top of these stitches back here. Just like that. So I'm traveling up the spine a couple of stitches and then I can move on. Move to the right and go back. Move up. See if we went up far enough. And we did. This time we did good. So when you stop, just kind of pay attention to where your foot is in relation to the template. then I can put that on top of there. Oops. Let's see, that needs to come up there. There we go. Because the only thing in feathers that'll really get you in trouble is if you don't meet the plume before. Okay, so let me show you what we got. Isn't that pretty? It's a little bit different than the Echo. Just a little bit. Okay, now what I would do probably, because to me it's just faster, is I would come down and I would stitch down the spine. So now my spine's going to be stitched 3 times, and that's why I didn't stitch it at the beginning. You could stop, pull your threads up here, and then start over at the bottom. Okay. I need to have my center line to the right. There we go. Shoot, I stitched across the... Trying to get these threads out of the way, and I don't think I'm going to be able to right now. Where's I had a stiletto, but I moved it. There we go. Stitch to the spine, come back. Okay, remember? We now move to the left. Center line on the center line. Get to the spine, move up. Let's see. Need to get out my... Now, I also, I don't know if you remember, or if you've ever seen me do this. I take a line and put it on my template right here. And that is a 1/4 inch away from the top of the template. And so that shows me where my feather's going to stitch, and that's how I make them even on both sides. So what I did is I measured not the Echo one, but the first one that I did. The first feather, or not the ribbon part, but the first feather. I don't want to get you confused with the Echo that we did last month. So I'm moving this down until it's on top of that feather. And this should be a 1/4 inch away, but my feathers will be even. And I know that that can sometimes be frustrating. And then we're going to come up. So when I say the line, let's look at this feather real quick. This lower part of the feather is the first part that I stitched, not this outside. So I'm lining this up over here. I'm going to stitch over here, and I'm on the second line, and I want to make sure that this black line is right on top of this feather. And then I'm going to be even on both sides. So that's why I have that line there. Most of the time, I don't care if I'm even, because I'm doing like a, say maybe a curved one, and I kind of just go back and forth between different sizes, and it doesn't really matter. But sometimes when I'm doing things like this, it does. And you could always use your spacing gauge right here. Where'd my spacing gauge go? if you have one and you can find it. You should probably have 3. Come up that way. So that way you know. Move this. Oops, I'm on the side. Put the black line on top of this feathered here. I'm in the center line there. And then move it to the left because we're on the left side. There's just so many things you can do with your feather templates. You don't have to always do classic feathers. You can do all kinds of fun feathers. And this is the last of my fun feathers. I call them sassy feathers. This has got to come up there. So I'm going to slowly stitch along the spine. There we go. Now, I haven't come up with a really great way to put a finial on this. And we're going to come up. Got one more to go. Sorry about my head. I just want to make sure that that doesn't, see, that looks really close to me. Like, I don't think that's going to hit. And it's not. So something, oh, I'm on the wrong one. Oh. Move this over. I missed that. Right here, I missed it by a stitch. I wasn't perfect. And that is my ribbon feather. You lost the picture. Uh-oh, what happened? Oh no. Oh, I do not know what's going on here. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can get into the other. Oh my gosh, I wonder if something happened to my. Oh, everybody, I'm really sorry. I don't know what happened to the video. I hope you can still hear me. Yes, audio is still there. No picture for anybody, and I don't know what happened, and I don't know how to fix it. I'm trying all of my cameras. I know they all couldn't have just been disconnected at once. That would be crazy. Yeah, there's no video. I'm so sorry. Well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a picture of these feathers and I'm going to post them on Westerly by me. So you can see them. Does anybody have any questions about anything? I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened to the video. Just remember to use the coupon code. Oops. Deal Day 20 is your coupon code for the Decorative Thread Ruler Foot and the Snowflakes. So just be sure that you do that. And I'm doing snowflakes, fun instead doing feathers. Yes, I did feathers Well, just so you know, the last 4 months I've done a sassy feather at the end of every class. So, oh, I'm glad, Charlene, that you could see the ribbon feathers for a little bit. When I went to the other side, I did the exact same thing I did on the right, only just mirrored it. So, all right, everybody, I guess there's nothing left to show you. So I hope everybody has a great month and a great holiday. And I will be back the first week of January, the first Friday of January. I'm here the first Friday of every month. There is a small possibility I won't be here the first Friday in February, but if I can't, then I will pick another Friday to jump on board. So, all right, everybody. If nobody else has any questions, I'm going to sign off. You can ask me any question that you want. Well, not any question, as long as it's quilt related. All right. Thanks everybody for being here again. I apologize for the video. I really don't know what happened. It's kind of weird that all 3 cameras would go out. So I don't think it's me. But it could be. So anyway, I do apologize. Take care. Have a great weekend. Again, thanks for being here. I super appreciate it. And this will be playing, I'm sure they'll broadcast it at least once more over the weekend. So take care, everybody. Thanks.